We have some really great partners. I'd love to tell you all about them, but for now, I'm going to introduce Matt Brown, who is serving at the YMCA of Greater Boston on Huntington Ave.
Wow, it is a little nerve-wracking. Um, Thank you. Once again, my name is Matt. Once again, my name is Matt. I might as well hold it. September 3rd, 2022. I had butterflies, so many that I pictured myself floating away like the house from Up. My car was packed to the brim with every inanimate object I placed sentimental value in. The weather was something you see in a concluding movie scene where the main character drives down a long, windy road in a red convertible wearing sunglasses, playing the Miami Vice theme song at full volume. I could feel the rising action of my own story becoming more apparent with every mile I trekked closer to Boston. Prior to beginning my service term, I completed a gap year post-undergrad. During that time of abrupt change, I found comfort in music. It became clear to me the type of professional I wanted to be and how I wanted to contribute to the spaces I find myself in. In that Virginian summer, as I watched the last few shining weeks of my gap year dim, I made the decision to spend my time doing what fulfilled me. After a year spent in trial and error, I found the opportunity to chase that fulfillment with SCI AmeriCorps in the YMCA of Greater Boston. I sat in my bedroom on the brink of a nervous sweat, awaiting to be interviewed. I was then greeted by three smiling faces, two of which who are here tonight: Julie Richmond, Becky Margalee, and Eileen McNeil. With their enthusiasm beaming through Microsoft Teams, I felt my heart rate settle in a sigh of relief. After talking about my passion for music production, Julie made mention of a recording studio in need of a helping hand. My eyes grew to the size of stars, and within 2 weeks, I was in Boston trying to navigate public transportation for the first time. Settling into a new home is much more than unpacking boxes and moving furniture. It's about feeling like a part of the community. That acceptance and sense of belonging is invaluable. I went to 9 different schools by the time I finished high school. I'd lived in 5 states by the time I graduated college. It's because of those vagabond-esque upbringing. It's because of that vagabond-esque upbringing I feel comfortable navigating unfamiliar environments and seeking new challenges. I came to Boston with the intention to make that studio feel like home, not only for me, but for the youth who deserve access to it. During the first tour of my newfound oasis, the experienced green walls rushed my eyes, and the moisture in the air was thick enough to smell. Attention-seeking dust mocked me with every surface I touched, but my smile could still span the Atlantic. Spaces like that are special. To have to have a place to be yourself, free of judgment, is an invitation for personal growth and creativity. The giggle, the potential held inside of that small 8 by 8 foot room was evident, and I could only help but grin and giggle at the treasure I'd so graciously stumbled upon. It was a moment of realization to see the need, to see the work that has to be done, and to be prepared to do it. It was then that I set out to save the sound. My first pitch to the teens was lackluster to say the least. I stood in the middle of a handful of apathetic eyes who had heard one too many lectures that day. I told them about the program and my hopes to help them learn about music production. I wrapped up my spiel and turned over the hourglass to begin waiting for signups. A week went by and persisted. A week went by and the wait persisted as the signups had yet to manifest. I started to reflect about where I went wrong. Was I not enthusiastic enough? Did some of the terminology not translate? Is the program not that interesting? Later, it struck me that most of the teens were seeing and meeting me for the first time. In order to really engage them and save the sound, I first needed to connect with them on an individual level. So I began supporting teen night programming Monday through Friday at the Huntington Ave and Roxbury YMCAs. It was then, after consecutive days of being present, I heard a voice ask, "Hey, what was that studio thing you were talking about?" My smirk could not be contained as the importance of building genuine relationships cast its light again. Even with all this new engagement, registration was still bleak, and there was more to be done. And although I had no signups, I still went to the studio simply because I wouldn't rather be anywhere else. Hearing ambiguous sounds and random piano melodies ring out piqued the curiosity of the youth of the Roxbury Teen Center. One by one, they filed into the space to investigate what was going on. Moments later, there were 2 teens in the recording booth behind the mic, one playing electric bass and the other playing the keyboard. The room was filled with laughter, and the same group of teens that had been so hesitant a few weeks ago had now let their guard down and replaced those defenses with fun and creativity. The life lessons have been abundant in this journey of a service term. I came to Boston in search of lending a helping hand, yet I never expected so many to return the favor. From the teens who brighten each day as they grow into young adults before my eyes, my SCI cohort, and program directors who keep me motivated and lighthearted, To the YGB team that has been so encouraging and helpful during my tenure with AmeriCorps, every one of you have been integral in making this service term a success. I was always taught that every story had a beginning, middle, and end. However, even as my service term expires, what I gave back won't. So, with the weather warming and new destinations in mind, I'll keep my foot on the gas and continue down this windy road, knowing that the destination was never a place, but a feeling.
Thank you, Matthew, for that great testimony and your service to AmeriCorps. Thank you. Good things ahead. Good things ahead.